What's going on there, guys? We're back with another one. Kind of want to get into this report that's coming out about Shedeur Sanders and his draft status from Josina Anderson, a well-respected reporter um, who's covered the NFL for a long time. Now, we're going to get right into it. She says on her X account, I am disappointed to hear that a quarterbacks coach from a team drafted in the top seven referred to Shedeur Sanders as coming off brash and arrogant in his team interview and making his assessment known to a number of people per source. I'm purposely not naming the team as not to directly call the team out. I'm just sharing that this coach's personal assessment is the direct opposite from how Sanders came across to many reporters in his press conference with the media at the Combine. Sanders appeared to go out of his way to acknowledge multiple media members, regardless if they were recognizable or not. He seemed cordial, polite, witty, thoughtful, along with being confident, as many athletes are. Alternately, these observations were distinctly different from how another QB prospect came off to some in the media last year in Indy. According to league sources, said QB coach seems to have issue with the culture of athletes who have broad fame and financial success before entering the NFL, and in their opinions appears to them to have a problem with certain athletes. I'll leave it at that. This is how pre-draft evaluations can get jacked because of evaluators who don't seemingly possess the discernment to detect intangible traits that are connected to the will and drive to win without being a stat, delineated in an analytics report. He's literally Deion Sanders' son, and despite growing up differently from most, seemed fairly grounded. Hopefully, any potential bias towards the culture are being checked at the door as not to unduly impact stock and business. The modern day college athlete is evolving, as is the scale of business and opportunities surrounding them before entering professional leagues. Adaptation sounds necessary and not just for Sanders. And Josina Anderson continued, she says, the coach is also not in favor of getting him. That is what prompted my post because there are other folks in the building who vehemently disagree with that assessment. The comments, all of which I did not report, were over the top. Even beyond football, Sanders is obviously a marketing star as well. So we're going to get into what Ryan Clark had to say about this, and I'm going to break this down a little bit. Let's check it out.
Yeah, I think the craziest part to me is you look at the two top picks last year, neither threw at the combine. So Jaden Daniels didn't throw, who went second overall. Caleb Williams didn't throw, who went first overall. And I do understand that they don't see Shedeur as that can't miss of a product, right? So maybe they feel like he needs to go out and do it. But also, like, do it in a controlled environment, like you said. My thing is sort of the different approach to Shedeur because he's a Sanders, because Deion is his dad, because of the way they've controlled some sort of narratives, because of the way they talk, because of the way they move, because of the confidence they exude. He seemed to be picked at more than other quarterbacks. Joe Burrow, when he came out, because he didn't throw at the combine, he didn't throw at all because there was no pro day at LSU because of COVID. I think that's worked out pretty well for him. The last number one overall pick to throw at the combine was Baker Mayfield. And so I do believe that Shedeur Sanders is seen so differently. He is picked apart so differently. There is like a negative connotation on everything he says, everything he does, every decision that he makes. And I think that comes along with it. But from a media standpoint, we have to be honest about what's the history of people throwing at the combine. There have been the C.J. Strouds, there have been the Josh Allens who, for lack of a better word, were sure things when it came to what they could show at the combine and throwing the football. Guys who wanted to approach it a different way or another way, like they've done those things at their schools. And I think Shedeur Sanders is a guy that could do that.
Now, this takes me back to when Cam Newton said that Shedeur Sanders doesn't want to be coached. And that's why their situation became pretty awkward, prior to one of Colorado's games because Shadeur's like, wait, dude, you my guy. You supposed to be locked in with my family. Why would you put that report out there? As we knew, and Coach Prime knew that these type of reports would come out, regarding Shedeur and just some of the people that feel a way about Colorado the way it's done. Because one thing I can't understand in what Josina Anderson reported that came from the team is, the coach having issues with well off college players. I mean, the guys that you would draft, uh, with one of those top picks, probably have some type of deals in this day and age in college football. They're probably playing at one of the powerhouse programs that have a unique situation at Colorado, like Coach Prime created, you know, um, in Boulder, right? Travis Hunter's going to be well off. Cam Ward made him some money this year. Uh, Shedeur and them, obviously, him and Travis made a lot of money. But they ain't the only guys that's getting money out there. You know what I'm saying? So in this day and age, you're going to have an issue with every top quarterback because you know I think it's definitely an adjustment. I'll say that as far as kids coming in with money already, that is an adjustment. At the same time, I mean, I always thought the NCAA's was professional sports. The money just wasn't changing hands with the athletes. But if the coach is getting millions of dollars a year to coach, then man, listen, somebody else can touch some of that money. The NCAA is making a killing off of it. It is the moneymaker sport for big time colleges. Football is those big old stadiums, uh, the selling of concessions, merch, all types of stuff. Right at these games, um, this is where their TV deals come from. Their college football programs. So why be mad at the athlete? Did Shador handle the process wrong with the interview? I wasn't in the room. I can't really say what his interaction was with Shador. I just find it ironic. We seen the play coming a long time ago. What I would say to Shador in regards to like some of the things Cam said, I didn't. If I like, and I'm putting myself in his shoes, I don't like it. It makes me look bad, but when I sit alone, sometimes even if I don't like what somebody say, I will try to see if there's any truth in what was said, right? Not people telling me what I want to hear, and say, oh, he's just a hater. Like, don't write everything off as somebody just being a hater. Even though it can be that at times, don't just completely write it off before you process it in your mind, is what I'm saying. I want him to think, like, was Cam hating on me or is Cam really giving me some jewels? Because sometimes the most uncomfortable thing is the thing you might need to hear. And as in regards to Shador, if it's just one coach, but the rest of the coaches don't feel this way, won't really matter too much. They say he's in the top seven. Um, and I always look at things double sided, right? So if this coach has come out and said this quarterback coach, um, you wouldn't want to land with that team anyway. So if I'm Shador, I'm trying to figure out which team said this behind the scenes. I won't out it. I won't out my source, but Josina, I'm gonna hit her up. Hey Josina, do me a solid, or even Coach Prime. I'll have Coach Prime do it for me. Josina, do me a solid. Who said this about my son? Because we want to make sure he don't go there. Because you don't want to go into a situation where they're telling you exactly who they are and how they feel about you, and the person's going to be working with you the most has animus towards you already. Don't even know you haven't had you in the locker room for one day. You don't want to go into that situation. So on that front, I would say thank you because I don't want to be a part of that organization anyway. Um, as long as he's the coach. So that's how you can identify it, right? You could say this was unfair that he said this, but you can also say, I'm glad he showed his hand who he is. As long as I can find out who it is, I'm glad he said that. Now I don't have to go in that situation, um, wondering if he had ulterior motives or anything like that. When something looked funny, it's not, it's not something I didn't expect. But The team don't want him. Other people in the locker room feel differently. So the thing is, if I go there, man, we need a new QB coach. Honestly, if they still take me, if that like he needs to be doing all he can to figure out who's leaking this report, um, and who this came from. Because the QB coach, he didn't have to go out, really trashing his name like that. He came off brash. I think, and I'm not even gonna do the black and white thing for this. I'm gonna say Caleb Williams was wanting ownership of a team. What's more arrogant than that? Shedeur ain't asking for ownership of no team. This dude wanted ownership of the Bears. They left him out that building. No, you ain't getting no ownership of a team. Like I don't really like the way that dude moved, Caleb Williams. But you know, I and let me say it like I respect that you want ownership, but you got to make that a little more realistic. Now, if you did what Patrick Mahomes has done for the franchise and different things, maybe they they might entertain you one day. But him coming in as a rookie, why would I give a non-proven rookie a piece of anything? You know what I'm saying? Uh, yeah, but let me know what you guys think about Shedeur Sanders and this report coming out trying to muddy up his name prior to the draft. Uh, Again, this is one I felt like many could see coming in the angle they would take with him. So this shouldn't be a big shocker for him. Just keep working, take these notes, keep grinding, man, and you have to prove yourself right more than prove them wrong. Just prove yourself right that you think you that guy. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.